Mr. Terrific number 6, written by Eric Wallace, art by Oliver Nome. We left off last issue with him getting off of an alien ship and coming to some sort of conclusion about something, but regardless, he made a decision as to who's going to succeed him in his company as CEO, and then there was something about a friggin' the Circle Revolution with one of the board members turning against Michael. It's all dumb. So this issue is basically a one-shot. He's fighting against some guy in a icy tundra area. He calls himself the Tomorrow Thief. He's a French dude who's just really pissed off that Mr. Terrific is American. Like, he's just going off on like, you put a McDonald's at the Arc de Triomphe and a Starbucks next to the Louvre. It's like, okay, sure, whatever. So while he's going off on that, Michael tries throwing an icicle through his head just to take him out, and it phases right through, and he's like, very nice. And he walks through a wall into an ice cave, and he's like, come after me if you, how you say, have the stones. Anyway, Michael's like, man, today keeps getting worse and worse. I hate Valentine's Day. So this whole thing is now Valentine's Day, but we go to 24 hours before. He's having the board of directors meeting that we talked about last issue, and he's waiting on delivery before he makes his announcement as to who's going to succeed him. And a kid walks in named Jamal Mason carrying the delivery, and he's like, well, that's my successor, Jamal Mason, IQ of 192. He's going to do a great job. Could you show him how to run the ropes? Because I got a thing I got to do. So the dude named Donald is like super pissed off that this was the choice he made of just some random kid. But everyone's like, all right, well, if he says so, he's pretty smart. Somebody cut to Iceland. Michael Holt is meeting up with an old flame named Lilija Eriksdotter, which is just Lily for short, and apparently she designed like an eco-friendly high-speed railway that can blah 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 help everybody. So they hop on and they're flirting a little bit, and then we cut to 6 hours before the fight, and Donald is talking to Alika and basically just trying to convince her of being like, hey, if we have your backing, we can overrule his stupid putting this kid in charge thing. He's not running this business. He's running this like an experiment. He just wants to see what's going to happen. And Alika's like, and I'm supposed to have his back, so no, I'm not going to come with you. And then Donald starts like putting on the moves, which she correctly just says is sexual harassment. And he's like, but baby, in a few hours it's going to be Valentine's Day. And she's like, all right, I'm going to go. You're a creep. And as she's walking away, he's like, you should have let me in. I could have saved you come the Circle Revolution. So whatever. We go back to the plane. It was just 1 hour, or the train just 1 hour ago. And they're talking about how it was some big new concept called the kinetic rail capacitor that allows this to run so quickly and so cleanly and so smoothly. And Lily's the one who designed it, but Michael bankrolled it. And then they hear a scream down from the passenger car as they're flirting and talking about why their relationship didn't take off before. And we see the Tomorrow Thief just walking along the edge of the train, like totally sideways. And he steps into the train and he's like, I am here for a piece of equipment. Let me in. And Michael's like, all right, well, I'm the CEO of the thing that ran this train, so I'm the boss. And he's like, you're the boss? And he's like, I'm the boss. And then he phases Michael through the train wall. He's like, now I'm the boss. So everyone thinks Michael's dead. In reality, because he's Mr. Terrific, he lands in a snowbank and he's barely hurt. He uses his T-sphere to turn into a costume. And as the Tomorrow Thief takes the kinetic rail capacitor, it took me a second, he flies off on a jetpack and he's like, all right, now to get my payment from Dalton. Mr. Terrific stops him. They have a brief little fight. And as they're fighting, and apparently Tomorrow Thief is able to use his powers to send like an atomic shock through Mr. Terrific, because his whole thing is that he can control his molecular bonds, and that's how he's able to phase through things. So that disrupts Mr. Terrific's ability to use his T-spheres because they're all linked like neurally to him and blah blah atomic blah whatever. But anyway, he realizes like, hey, I got your briefcase full of the kinetic rail capacitor. So if this is the thing you want, I'm just going to blow it up. And he blows it up. And he's like, you idiot. Do you have any idea what you've done? And he's like, I got rid of the thing that we're fighting over. So then they fight some more. And that's pretty much where we open the issue. So then we go to the inside of an underground lake, a volcanic lake inside of this glacier. And because Mr. Terrific's had time to figure this out, he sees the Tomorrow Thief phasing through the wall behind him, grabbing his head, and Mr. Terrific flips him up and lands him in the volcanic lake, which I guess because it has so much heat, it disrupts his atomic bonds, and he's not able to use his powers, so he's just like stuck there burning alive, which is a thing. And then at this point, Mr. Terrific realizes, like, cool, I'm stranded out in the tundra in the middle of Iceland, and nobody knows where I am. I'm going to have to walk into this lake, essentially flash freeze myself, and then just wait it out until somebody finds me. And it works. Like, somebody does find him, and Lily's like, that was the dumbest thing I think you ever possibly could have done. He's like, right, but was it actually super smart? And he's like, that's exactly why we didn't work out together. And they go, ha ha ha, happy Valentine's Day, Lily. And that's where we leave off. Totally one and done, one shot, unless somehow Tomorrow Thief comes back, which frankly I don't see Volcanic Lake being a thing you really come back from. It's okay. Like, I'm not... The only thing that matters in this issue is the reveal of who the successor is, and frankly, I don't care about that plot, like, at all. I don't think I really have cared about a plot over this entire book. Like, whether it's him controlling his anger in the first arc, this business subterfuge subplot. The alien ship was the closest I got to caring, but it was done in 2 issues, so I don't care about the French dude either. So yeah, I'm just kind of done with this. It's fine. It's not doing anything horrible. It just can't make me care about it. I don't have any sort of like, wow, yes, you're giving me insight into this character. He's just a trivia machine. That's all he's doing. He's just like, but the hydrogen and the ionic bonds. No, shut up. I'm done. So are you. You got canceled. He's got 2 issues left, and we know that. So no, I'm going to give this a 6. Because again, it's not doing anything wrong. And the art's actually pretty okay. Oliver Nome did a fine job on art. It's just a matter of I don't care about the writing. And I don't think there's anything you can really do in these last 2 issues to make me care at this point.